right, we're back for another episode with Grant Harvey. I don't
What's
think,
up?
wait,
Your favorite
well,
guest?
I think people don't know why I say it like that because it's
Oh,
a random story. But who was it? Maggie Gyllenhaal. I was like, if Maggie
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal said your name, she'd be like, Grant Harvey. Only because I think it's the Harvey part in Dark Knight. She's always like, Harvey. Okay, but anyway, that's not what's going on.
What's up, Mike? How's your
Yeah,
week? How you doing?
my week actually starts tomorrow because my week. I'm a weekend writer, so like I don't really work on the weekdays to the first, Monday, Tuesday. So the week hasn't fully started, but basically over the last 7 days, I have
Mm-hmm.
read some stories that have been fucking with me, some pop culture stuff. Oh my god, wait, it's Drew Barrymore's birthday today? Ah, happy birthday, Drew Barrymore. Okay, that's not what I want to talk about. But so the first
Happy
one,
birthday, Drew Barrymore.
yeah, happy birthday, Drew Barrymore. She is 48. Ooh, she do not look 48. Not that there is a look to 48, but she doesn't look it. Okay, but so first story that really shocked me because I'm just gonna fire through these because these
Yeah,
things
go for
they're
it.
wild. The first one is Euphoria star Angus Cloud is reportedly wanted by the California police for alleged hit and run. I don't know what an alleged hit
That's
and run
crazy.
means. Like he allegedly hit and ran somebody, or from what they looking at, someone was allegedly hit and ran on. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're like,
Yeah,
but
I think it's just for journalists to cover their butt,
yeah,
so
because
they
they
say
don't.
alleged, because it's not he was not convicted of it. So
We need to stop posting stories instantly if we don't know all the information. Says someone who does pop culture, right? Because I definitely would have
such a
covered.
good point, though.
I definitely would have covered this if I was working right now. But I'm not going to touch this because I like Angus St. Cloud. But he's the actor from Euphoria that plays I can't even remember the character's name. Fezco. But
Mm.
who barely talks and but yeah, he hit and ran somebody and they're looking for him. Like this is like when the shows become too real.
Mm.
Yeah,
Is
because
that something his character would do in that show?
well, he's like a drug dealer in the show. And so the cops were
Oh,
looking for him. But now, yeah, he freaking is on the run from the cops because he hit somebody or a pole or something. I don't know what he hit. I don't even look into it. Oh, this is a
that's
story.
crazy, man.
It's a story on Andrew Tate, but we're gonna fucking pass on that one because that dude looks like a meerkat, and I can't stand him. he looks he looks like if Timon
Well,
and
but
Pumbaa
aren't
had
meerkats cute?
no, hold on. He looks like if Timon and Pumbaa had sex,
Oh, so like a
had a
pig cat.
baby, and then dragged that baby from the jungle to Pride Rock. That's what he looked like. I'm just not into him. It's because of
Mm.
the things that he says. But so that's not we're not gonna talk about him.
Yeah, he's very problematic.
Rihanna turned 35 yesterday. That's not what I care about. Okay, the story that I really want to focus on that
That's
really,
crazy.
really bothered me. Let me see
Mm-hmm.
if I can find it. Is Lucas Gage. So you remember in you never seen Euphoria, right?
No, that's on my list.
Okay. But he was in White Lotus. He's the guy that got his booty ate out. Remember the
By
dude?
Murray Bartlett.
Yeah, Murray Bartlett. He's back eating ass.
Yeah.
But he had his butt cheeks spread and he was eating the booty out. So and then I think in the new show You in the new season 4, he gets peed on. This character, this actor Lucas Gage. But Lucas Gage,
Interesting roles.
he I don't know if you can you can't see that. That
No, it's all blown out.
that doesn't
I
yeah.
can kind of see.
But
I'll look them
anyway,
up.
basically what happens is I'll bring it up. Look, here is a picture of it. Lucas Gage took some pictures with this celebrity hairstylist named Chris Appleton. And it's just like one picture of them with their shirts off and they're in the water, and another picture of them on like a four-wheeler and putting up peace signs or rock on signs or whatever. And the story that everyone is going with is that they're officially dating now. They're Instagram official off
Hmm.
of these pictures. They're not kissing, they're not holding hands. There's no inclination of like affection other than just two guys hanging out. And I don't even think either one of these people have ever disclosed their sexuality at any point. And so like I was like, this is very interesting and weird. It's just a weird news story for me to see this popping up everywhere. That everyone's running with the story they're Instagram official or dating just because they posted these pictures. Because I was like, you mean to tell me if two men take intimate pictures, like they're really buddy buddy or close or have their shirts off, and it's like one or two or three pictures. And I guess they commented on it, like one of the guys commented on it and said like stud or something. Just a regular, they could he could just be giving them a compliment.
Yeah, they're just
Days,
guys being dudes.
everyone's saying they're dating. And I'm like, and it's coming from credible news sources. Like I think even we covered it. But I was like, we might have put an allegedly in front of it, but other people are just actually running with it as like concrete. And I'm like, that's crazy because I feel like even you and I have taken pictures together with like arm in arm and stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah,
is a standard for like dating just taking a picture with someone of the same sex or opposite sex now? Like, this is wild. Because
that is interesting.
yeah, as a bisexual man, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, if that's all it takes to be dating someone, I got a lot of motherfuckers I ain't the relationships I need to tend to then. Because I got a lot of pictures with different people. And we be in other countries, we've been in other states, we've been shirts off, we've been in the water, we've been on SUV or ATVs, we've been on all the same things that they're doing. And so like it just bothered me that we're in this stage now with social media. I don't maybe it was always like this, but I don't think so. I think it's getting worse where two actors, male, female, non-binary, doesn't matter who they are, the minute they take a picture together or take a picture where they're kind of separated. Remember Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon took the photos for their movie and they were kind of spaced apart and everyone's like, this is awkward. He must be cheating on Mila Kunis because they're not standing next to each other. I'm like, what?
Just insane conclusions that are
Yeah,
being jumped
it's
to.
it's.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on with the world? I'm like, is Marjorie Taylor Greene in charge of everything now? So yeah, it
Do you think
just
this is like a consequence of late stage social media?
what's that mean?
I
Elaborate.
don't know. I just made it up right now. Like basically, social media has been going on for so long that people now are just jumping to all sorts of conclusions. Maybe it's a media thing, actually. Maybe it's like a headline buzz clickbait thing.
I will see. I can speak to that because I know I was very aware of the very first publication that put it out. It was Just Jared put it
Mm,
out first because like I obviously got my finger on
mm.
this shit because it's my job. But and then all from Just Jared, everybody hopped on it. And even if you look at everyone's stories, they're like, according to Just Jared, and I'm like, that's not because even when you click the Just Jared article, they just saying because of the pictures they're officially dating. They don't say because a best friend told someone. They don't say because they heard from an agent or a manager. They don't say because there's other inclinations of them dating and there's been history of them like taking pictures or being seen together in SUVs making out like Bad Bunny and Kendall Jenner. There's none of that. They just jumped from it off of this picture, and because this one news publication said it first, everybody's running with that. And I'm like, this is wild. This is a Chinese spy balloon type shit. So I'm just yeah, it's I know the pop culture world is not like everyone else doesn't give a fuck. Like I'm talking about
No,
this.
but I think that does happen in other spaces too. Like there's a lack of due diligence, I think. Like even when I was writing a tech newsletter, like if somebody else published it who's credible, then you basically take what they're talking about and you can link to it and more or less run with it if you
Yeah,
don't do your due diligence and check your sources. So there's a lot of people who make content about like the articles that are published from these big name publications, and then they provide commentary based on the facts that are listed there. They're not doing firsthand journalism themselves and checking the sources. So
it's
yeah,
also
that happens.
it's like an error too of like trying to out him because if he's never disclosed his
Mm,
sexuality, they're like, this is his boyfriend. So they want to be like, is he gonna say, no, this guy isn't my boyfriend, but like I could have one? Or like it's like what are
interesting.
you fishing for? Because he never talked about his sexuality. So
It
that
is
means
fishing. It's like
any
begging for an answer.
Yeah, it's just not cute. And the reason why I think it also bothers me, linking it to something that's just actually applicable to my life and probably other people's lives, is I wonder people who have a different outlook on Hollywood, LA, the lifestyle that I might have, even like the career that I have, people who kind of look at it as something very foreign. I wonder if they have the same reactions. Like I wonder if people in my family look at my Instagram and probably also jump to these wild conclusions too. Because this has happened. I've had taken pictures with like one of my friends, female friend. I have her and I had like 3 or 4 pictures together, and they were like, "Oh, you guys definitely like each other. You guys like each other. Like you just don't know what you do." I was like, I think we don't." And they're like, "Oh no, you guys do." I'm like, "Mom, I promise you, we don't, because we have been to Coachella like 6 times, and let me tell you now, if I'm going to Coachella, I was under every type of impairment you could think of, and and still nothing has occurred. I was like, friends are just friends. I'm sorry to tell you, like that's just the way it is. But
Yeah.
people believe that because they're like, no, you took multiple pictures together. You're posting them on your Instagram. If you post someone on your Instagram, that means you're in love with them, and that means you're together. And I'm like, there is people who see things very clear cut like that. It's the people who watch.
Doing too much.
Yeah, they're doing too much. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
How about you? What's going on in your corner?
Interesting. Well, I always like to keep abreast of what's going on in the
Probably not as
war in
superficial
Ukraine,
as
but
mine.
that's boring. But that's pretty boring. So let's skip over that.
I shouldn't have
Um,
laughed. I wasn't laughing at the war. I was laughing at what you said.
no, I'm fairly funny when I try.
I
So
know. I'm just saying that
no one
because
would blame you.
I got self conscious.
But I do follow this one newsletter. It's pretty cool. That talks about future tech, and there's just a couple crazy things going on right now, Mike, that I just want to tell you about.
Okay.
Okay,
What is
so I'm
future
just going to
tech
read you a
first?
couple headlines. Future tech is tech that impacts the future.
Okay. The minute you said that, I was like, oh, like ray guns and like spaceships.
Sometimes, well, let me tell you this:
Okay.
self-assembling nanoparticles could
Nope.
help scale solar energy harvesters.
Every
So
you
apparently now we're going to use nanotech to make solar panels.
uh-uh. No, no, no. You said like 12 buzzwords for supervillains. Uh-uh. I heard nanotech, nanobots, uh solar energy, like nah, these is all
Yeah.
this sounds like Lex Luthor's shopping list. I'm good. I'm good. Hey, are
All
you
right, all right. Let me give you something. Let me give you something more down to earth. Then, how about robot vans could soon be delivering the groceries under law? Okay, groceries and other goods could be delivered by robot vans to your door within months under plans by the Law Commission.
okay? So
So, like, there could be a legal framework for robo delivery vans. What are your thoughts?
my imagination goes wild. So when you first said it, I thought robo. I was like, robo vans. I love vans. I wear vans all the time. I was like, but what's it gonna look like?
Oh, that'd be sick, like the shoe.
Yeah, I thought they could turn into like
Yeah.
go-go gadget boots or something. But then I was like, no, he meant vans like the car, right? Then I was
Yes.
like, so
Like,
like Transformers are gonna be delivering our packages? Like, is it gonna turn into like a person to be running down the street, down the freeway? Like, I got your package, Candace or whatever. I don't know.
dude, that'd be sick. Well, the little picture they have here is like, have you seen them? They're actually in LA. Those little like delivery robots that
I
like
don't like
look
them.
like little Wally bots, but they're like a cooler.
I don't like them. I'm gonna tell you right now. You know how like in the Matrix where people like become kind of prejudiced towards machines and robots, and like it kind of looks like real life prejudice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be one of them people. I'm gonna be like, no, machines are not
you're
humans.
a robo bigot.
Yeah, I'm a robo bigot because I that little thing be riding down Hollywood where I work, and I'll be like, you better back up 20 feet away from me. I don't want because I'm like that. What if it just turns and gets angry and just kills everybody? I mean, it doesn't have any
Yeah,
weapons.
that would be crazy.
It just has some egg rolls inside of it, probably. But like, I
But
was
you
like,
still don't know.
I still don't know. Shit.
Yeah.
So no to that
All
too.
right. Well, let me give you something wholesome. Okay.
Okay.
So there's now a research team in the Netherlands that
Already.
has 3D printed a robotic zebra finch, which is a bird, in order to see which factors are important to when baby finches just learn to sing. A 3D printed robot bird can teach chicks to sing, Myke. This is
Hell,
adorable.
hell no. The minute you said researchers in Switzerland or somewhere, I already was like, this sounds shady as hell. Because it sounds like they researching some shit in a remote location that we don't know about. And I tried to tell
They
everybody,
published it. We know about it.
okay, now we know. They're not telling us all of it though, because they're just telling us they want to see how finches work and shit. Nobody cares about that. Don't calm down. You know how finches do shit. They making fake birds so they can spy on us. Because this is not the
So
first
that
time
conspiracy that,
birds aren't
yeah, the
real.
TikTok conspiracy. Yeah.
I told you. I
Wow.
tried to tell people I was in Joshua Tree one time, just just walking around Joshua Tree like people do. And I was
Uh-huh.
feeling good. And I was like, these birds ain't real. Because there was a bird sitting on top of a giant rock way up and it never moved the whole time. I
Are
was
you
like,
sure it was a real bird and not another rock?
no, it was a bird. It had wings. Everybody was with me was like, it's a bird, but we like it wasn't moving. We're like, it's definitely just a spy. Like it's fake. And I was like, birds are not real. And then I saw another news story that they are using dead birds, like parts of dead birds, to create drones, so it can have like
Really?
wings. Like, and I was like, see, look, now you got fake finches flying in the sky, you got zombie birds flying in the sky, and you got Chinese spy balloons. This shit is crazy.
All
Future
right, should we
tech needs
get
to,
into
future tech needs to slow the fuck
oh,
down.
God. Oh, it's only speeding up, man.
Well,
Have you ever seen those graphs of like the rate of technology changing? It's like
yeah.
exponential curve.
Well, this is
All right, should we
great.
jump into this episode?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about The Last of Us. I mean, because why not? If we're already talking about future tech and shit, we need to get ready for a post-apocalyptic world because it's about to happen. It's just not gonna be with fungi and plants like this TV show. It's gonna be with robots and nanobots. But
That's
yeah,
true. We got to talk about the show and if we would survive in a
yeah,
post-apocalyptic situation.
and I don't think we will, or maybe we will. Who knows? We gotta listen and find out. Stay tuned. Next episode. We'll start the next episode. It's this episode, just right after this. We finally got you to watch HBO Max 100 years later, even though you're the one that owns it.
Yeah, I had to kick off like four people in order
Yeah,
to
you
watch
kicked
my
me
own
off.
account.
First of all, that made me mad.
First of all, I did not know that you had your own access to this.
We don't need to get into
So I
that.
kicked you off before I knew. I kicked you
Yeah,
off before I knew. So it was still ruthless.
yeah, that's funny. I was like, okay, first,
Look,
like, bitch, you kicked me off. Good luck, you already seen the show. But yeah, we were sharing passwords. Whatever. They're blocking everybody now, so like it's a past thing. But yeah, we got you to watch Last of Us, which is awesome because the show is really, really fucking good. And I'm surprised by
yeah.
that because video game, movies, and TV always suck a lot. So
Is that still true? No, this is a good question. Is that still true? Because what about I heard the Sonic movie was really good. I
oh,
heard
okay.
Detective Pikachu was
All
pretty
right.
good.
All right. So let me, yeah, I stand corrected. Lately, there have been some animated features that have done really well, but that's because they realize that like we can lean in to like the animation, the campiness, and the cartoon aspect instead of trying to move
Mm,
away from that. Because remember when Sonic tried to
right.
move away from that and gave him teeth and shit, everyone was like, "Oh hell no, he's ugly, redo it." And I can't believe they actually redid it. Like that was cool. So yeah, I think Sonic,
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu, were the start of video game movies kind of getting a new life. But those still had like animated characters in it. So I was nervous
Right. That's a
because
good point.
Last of Us, I was like, it's all live action, but I don't know, is it gonna be good? It was gonna be shit, but it was good, and I think that's probably
Uh,
a testament to HBO.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not only is it good, it's like really good. Like to the point where they brought in what did they say? I don't know if you watched the after credits stuff, but they had like 5,000 of those like creature designs that people made, and they were inspired by the the video game, and they brought in like these insane designers to make all this stuff. Like
Oh
it's like
wow.
really faithful to the source material. I mean, the guy who created the game is also one of the head writers on it.
That's awesome. Yes, I do know that. The it's I think yeah, it's not even good as in just like it's a good show for a video game. I think it's kind of up there with, the other shows that HBO has been putting out. Like when you think of um way back when we were watching Sopranos and The Wire and these shows that had such big life even after they were after they ended. This show was getting up there, with Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and White Lotus, these shows that have such big conversation where everybody's talking about, did you see that scene, or did you see this, or this made me cry, or this made my jaw drop. I think it's in that conversation. I'm like, oh, the nerd in me is like so happy. I've been waiting for this transition my whole life. Now we just need a Final Fantasy TV show on HBO Max, and I'm good. That'll probably
I
never
mean,
happen, but
if they need writers for that, we're right here, Gladly do it. Gladly
yeah,
fall.
let us do it because I think there's gonna be other games like it was like a God of War and stuff like that. There's other stuff coming out,
Yeah.
but yeah. So just to say, the HBO is definitely stacked this motherfucker because we have the main actors Bella Ramsey and
Mhm.
Pedro Pascal, who's daddy. He's so fucking hot. But
Yeah.
so I was gonna
No,
say
he definitively,
he really,
objectively
yeah, he really
is.
is. But yeah, those two actors are both leading the show, and it's great because they were two of my favorite characters from Game of Thrones. She was, or they were, not she. They were what was the character? Liana Marmont? Liana Marmont? Marmont?
Yes.
Mormont? Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I gotta just do that off the top of the head. I couldn't even look that up. But yes, that's who they were, Bella Ramsey. And then Pedro Pascal was he was my entry into Game of Thrones because the first episode somebody showed me, it was after, I mean, I can't say what I was doing, but just to say that things looked really weird and crazy in life.
When
Like the world was already looking weird to me, and everybody's like, "You should watch Game of Thrones." I was like, "Do you think this is the thing we should do?" And so they turn on Game of Thrones, and the first episode they turn on to me like, this is just an easy scene to watch. Don't worry. He's like Tyrion has gotten arrested, and this guy is gonna fight for him. And I saw the guy, and it was Pedro Pascal, and I was like, oh, this is tight. He got the spear, like he's awesome. And then yeah, he got his face smashed in, and that shit.
oh,
Like, I can't believe I watched the show after that because that was the first episode I ever saw, and I was like tripping. So
oh, yeah, how do you go from that first encounter to being like, okay, yeah, this is a show I want to watch?
I
Did you
was
just think it was badass?
I was really against the show. You remember when we lived together? I was like, every
Yeah.
time you guys brought it up, I was like, no, fuck that. I want to watch this because I already knew what to expect of how it treats like people of color and like how it tries to stay true to like European standards. And I'm like, it's not even Europe, it's a fake world. So I was pissed off. But seeing that, I was like, the show visually is pretty. So I want to see how visually beautiful it is. And I will say
That's fair.
that that visual beautification or great set design is like something that's common in HBO shows because how Last of Us has that definitely. It's like
Oh,
just
totally.
it's a beautiful show to look at on top of the storytelling being really good.
Yeah, what would you say to someone who like, isn't familiar with the video game, maybe they don't even watch HBO all that much. Like why should they watch this show?
Um, because it takes a genre that is very simple and common, like a zombies genre, and kind of adds an element to it that's like a little more practical. It's like it's not an evil disease that was like created in a lab by some evil scientist that accidentally dropped it and now it's spread across the world because that seems silly,
Like
like
Resident Evil or
or
something like
or
that.
like the
Yeah.
pandemic that we just got that we're in. But that's not believable. But yeah, coronavirus. What? But it has to do with like plants and fungi, and
yeah.
mushrooms and shit, basically taking over people and turning them into zombies. And that's crazy because it reminds me of The Happening. Remember that movie?
Mm.
But it's like the way
Hmm.
better version. It's like, okay, this is what he was trying to do.
That's
And
such a good point. Yeah.
yeah,
Plants taking over, basically.
basically, yeah. But they it just like
Yeah.
looks cool because they look really creepy. Also, what's the that book you read? It also was a movie with
Oh,
um
um, Annihilation. That's another
Annihilation
weird one.
with the other
Yeah.
daddy, his
Mm.
best friend. What's his name?
Who who is in that?
Other
I don't
his
remember anyone except
other
Natalie
daddy,
Portman.
Pedro's Pascal's best friend. What's his? Come on,
Diego Luna's in that?
no, not Diego Luna. It's the other.
Oh, I love him. Hold on.
Oscar Isaac. Why can I was
Oscar
struggling.
Isaac.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac, other daddy.
The
But
recall was stalled.
yeah, yeah, they're great. They need to play in a movie that's like Brokeback Mountain. They
Yeah.
fall in love and have rough gay sex. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
You're like,
Okay.
what? But yes, in Annihilation, they also kind of had the plants taking over people, and just the way it looks, like it's always scary because it's like how it's growing out of people's faces and stuff. But then it's also really pretty.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, The
Yeah.
Last of Us does that, and so it just looks visually great, and it's easy to pick up for people who haven't played the video game because it's
Yeah.
just like a zombie show.
Pretty much. I feel like it's like in a way, it's kind of HBO's answer to Walking Dead. I know
Yes,
they wouldn't necessarily say that, but that's basically what it is.
pretty much. And also like The Road, the book The Road, or the movie The Road, if you've seen it or read it. It's like it's
Yeah.
the end of the world. Like it's apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, but also zombie. And
Yeah, because it's got the plant zombies in there, but there's also the human element, and a lot of the show is, and just like the game, from what I remember,
yeah,
is humans interacting with humans, and how do you set up civilization 20 years after it all falls apart, and
it's pretty
the
much the
different ways that
Mandalorian
that
with
plays out.
plant zombies.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to kind of explain the plot then, just very briefly about like the main characters and what
Main
their whole deal
character
is?
is this really jaded dude who's really pissed off because when the zombies or the plant zombies first broke out, he tried to escape with his brother and his daughter got killed in the crossfire. Who was played by Daniel Newton's daughter, by the way.
Specifically, that's crazy. Yeah, you told me that right before this happened, and that was crazy. But specifically, they were killed, by a military person who was given the order to kill them, even though they weren't sick, um,
Yeah, yeah, because they just weren't. This is
which was
at the
crazy.
very beginning when they weren't sure who was infected or not. They were just killing everybody, which is something like honestly
Yeah.
watching that, I'm like, I couldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past our actual government if they did something like that. Just saying, because how
Oh
we
yeah.
handled the pandemic, I'm like, we would be acting crazy too if plants turned us into zombies. But yeah, so
Totally.
that happens to him in the past, and time jumps, decade or so, 2 decades, I don't know, later. And now he's this really jaded, disgruntled, angry kind of dude who has his dark past, which is why I said it's like the Mandalorian, because he pretty much is this,
Mm-hmm.
playing that kind of guy, except he talks a lot more in this than he does in the
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian.
That's true.
And him and his friend Tess, who's like his lover, but like, he's jaded now. Yeah, I don't love nobody. So he never really explicitly says it's his girlfriend. But Tess, who's played
Right.
by Anna Torv, is that how you say her name?
As far as I know, in
Yeah,
Torf,
yeah,
yeah.
Anna Torv. But they both are trying to get to his brother, who's like in another part of the country, but they need a battery for a truck to so they can drive a truck because everything is scarce. There's a scarcity now with food
Yeah.
and electricity and batteries and oil and all this stuff. So you got to do all these different trades and wheel and deal, and there's quarantine zones that are run by the government, which are really fucked up now because the government's like very like totalitarian now, and
Yeah,
so
totally
it's
militant.
yeah, it's fucked up. So him and his homie Tess end up getting like wrapped into having this cargo, which is a young girl that could possibly save the world because of like she can't get infected. No, like
Yeah.
her blood can't get infected. So like that's the video game, that's the show. Like they didn't
Yeah.
go and completely flip it on its head, which I think that's what saved it. Because in the past,
Yeah.
when they'd be like, "Oh, it's a video game movie or a video game show," they'd be like, let's do the Mario Brothers, but like, let's not make it exactly the same. Let's make the Goombas have small heads and big bodies. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why did you change that? They look weird still. It was a mess. So yeah, but this one they were like, we're
Like
not gonna.
changing things just to change things.
Yeah, they didn't change it that much in this one. It's pretty much very
Yeah.
true to the source material, and I think that's what makes it good. But it's very
Yeah, and I think some of that comes from like Neil Druckmann, who made the game basically, and Craig Mazin working on it together, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
Like,
I like it. But I think what is really fucks with me is like how, because in the video game, all these same stories that happen in each episode pretty much occur in the video game. Obviously, it's drawn out a lot more in the game because you just walking around looking for fucking bandages and scalpels to fucking make shivs all day. But the show goes a little faster. But each episode are, what do they call it when it's like one, not a one off,
sequential.
no, like a pocket. Is it called like a pocket episode? I don't know. We should know
Oh,
this.
bottle episode.
There we go.
Yes, bottle
There we
episode
there we
when
go.
it's like what single location and
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. I should know this. I was totally like I got a degree in it. That's sad. But anyway, once
a
again,
recall.
last episode I was like couldn't do English and I have some other degree. Okay, it's a hot mess. But yeah, so they're like bottle episodes pretty much because each one has a theme for the most part. Some of them kind of draw on to the next one, but for the most part, it'll be
Mm.
one area that Ellie and Joel, who are the main characters, they will land there and they or get there, arrive there, and then they have to deal with a situation. And it always has these themes that are real fucked up. Like it can be about loyalty, it can be about grief, it can be about love, it can be about, survival or just betrayal. And it's like, I'm like, oh, I love the way they are telling it because it's each one kind of is separate of each other. And it gives each of those actors that show up in each of those episodes like time to shine because it's like no one's overshadowing anybody. They did really good in this story. This other one did really good in this story. They all have their little parts.
Yeah, that's true. Do we want to jump into a couple of the episodes, like spoiler territory, basically, and talk
Yeah,
about some of those themes?
yeah. What were some of our favorites? Because I think the first one I want to start off with, which was it had the two men in it. They were gay.
Bill and Frank.
Bill and
Yeah,
Frank.
played
Gay. They
by
were gay as
Nick
fuck,
Offerman
and we loved it.
and Murray Bartlett.
Two
Yeah.
two post-apocalyptic bears just living in bear
They were
glory.
bears. I said the same
Yeah, I was
thing. I was
like
like,
these
these are bears.
bear daddies just like
Yeah.
living and doing their thing. But Nick Offerman he acts his ass off because he has a knack
Yeah,
for
he's good.
playing
Good.
like, yeah, he has a knack for playing roles that are like that kind of conservative mountain man. Like he has
Yeah,
that
a
look.
little more macho, a little more like, not letting a lot through.
Yeah,
More like the tough guy,
he knows
strong
how to,
silent type.
yes, he knows how to make that face. And so I
It's
when
got a
I
mean
saw
mug.
it, a mean mug. When I saw it, I was like, oh, he's gonna, he ain't got no, he's mean, he ain't got no heart, he's an asshole. But then he has a love story with the other guy. What's his name?
Frank, or the actor's name, Murray?
Murray Bartlett,
Murray,
right?
Murray Bartlett. Yeah.
Yes, with Frank Murray Bartlett. He has a love story with him, and it was just so touching because it was like I forgot for a whole second that this was a world with zombies in it because this was a one episode that
Mm.
didn't have any clicker situation really in it. It was all just them living in this like secluded like what like suburban neighborhood, like a
Yeah, it's supposed to
track.
be like suburban Boston, and everyone in the town gets evacuated basically, but he hides out in his bunker under his house because he's like a prepper. And then
Yeah,
he
he
essentially,
was
when
a prepper.
everyone's yeah, so when everyone's gone, he then like irons out or like puts little iron fencing around the whole town and like sets booby traps everywhere, and that's when he runs into Frank because he catches Frank in one of his traps.
Yeah, and that's what's heavy about this show is that the main characters they keep landing in these areas where these are places where they almost could just stop there and live, but they can't
Mm.
because the main mission is to get her to this like militant rebel group that has like doctors and scientists so they can study her blood and stuff like that so they can find the cure. So it's like no matter how many
Right.
times they keep landing in these spots, like with Bill and his and like it's a great place to stay because it has security and everything. They have to move to the
Yeah.
next place, and so that's
Right.
what's also great for the storytelling because I'm just like, damn, every time you think that like it's supposed to just end here, like just stop, don't go any further, like they have to. And so that
Yeah.
I don't know.
The stories, like the engine behind the story is really strong in that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, it's like the Oregon
Yeah.
Trail I used to play back in the day. I'm like, gotta keep going, can't just because somebody got dysentery you can't stop, you gotta get to the end.
So the theme of that episode was kind of like love conquering all in a way because you have this guy who basically didn't want he didn't think that humanity was worth it. Like basically when everyone dies, he was like happy. I think he says that in the episode. But then he meets someone who is worth living for, who he does fall in love with,
Yeah,
and they have a beautiful story together.
they obviously,
Kind of dark ending,
yeah,
but romantic.
it didn't end the best for them, but at least they died together.
It kind of
Spoiler.
ended the best way it could, honestly. Well, all of this is spoilers now, but yeah,
Yeah, this is fat spoilers.
yeah,
Um, but that was one of my favorite episodes because I mean, also just the
it's
gay love
good.
story like that, and it's just told so nonchalantly.
Yeah,
It wasn't like, are you gay? Yes, I am gay, and that means that I love men and taking it up the ass. Like it wasn't over the top and all intense. It was just like they started playing the one. He starts playing the piano. He's like, I don't want to play the piano, and he's like, but play for me, and he plays, and then next you know, it just turned into some like it's romantic. I was like, ah, oh,
yeah.
I wish
They
this
fell
was
for each other.
I wish this was reality. It's not.
Well, it could be,
Man,
minus hopefully the zombie apocalypse.
I'm gonna keep every time I find a bear daddy, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna play the piano and be like, are you the one? We'll see. But so what's the next episode that really resonated with you?
The next one for me is definitely Endure and Survive. That was
Yeah,
intense.
that
Um,
I'm fucked up now that you even just said the name.
yeah, I don't even know if that's the episode name, but that's definitely the theme of the episode.
I think it is. There's because they
Mm.
these this one we're talking about in particular was one that was kind of spread out over two, right? It was like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, because I guess that one, because there's a first part to that episode where they land in Kansas City, and then the second part is like them getting out of Kansas City, basically. But it was an amazing episode for more than one reasons. But once again, really great characters introduced, like adorable kid and his older brother, and then
Yes,
doesn't end
actors
well.
Lamar Johnson, who plays Henry, he's the older brother. Yeah, they were in 3 episodes. Yeah, theirs was drawn out. And
Yeah.
then uh Kayvon is I believe how you say
Mm-hmm.
his name, Woodard. And
Mm-hmm.
he plays his little brother Sam, and he's a little brother, and he's I believe he's deaf, so
Yeah.
he can't hear. And he's played in the actor, I believe, also is. So it
He saw, yeah, I think he does say that at the end credits and he signs and
yeah.
talks
I think even
that
some
way.
of the actors learned a little bit like of some sign language so they could communicate with them. And that was
Yeah.
it was man, that shit fucked me up. One, because obviously they're black guys. And I was watching, I was like, oh, it's just so hard to see this storyline be told and like watch them have to deal with, getting shot and stuff like that. But it happens
Mm.
in a video game. So these are characters that it's directly translated from the game. And
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah,
I was wondering about that when I watched it, but I never got that far in the game. So those characters are in it.
yeah, it's a little different because the new addition to the show was this character named Kathleen, played by Melanie Linsky, and like
Right.
basically it's in Kansas, right?
Hmm.
They're in this quarantine zone, which was run by the like this fucked up military. They actually overthrew that military and took over. Now the people did, and
Yeah.
basically anyone that was a collaborator with the military has to die, or and then anyone that was in the military also died. So they basically just
Now
go
let's talk about that because like there was some controversy right on social media about Melanie's character, and
yeah.
I have some thoughts about that in particular because, but I don't know if you want to queue up what exactly the controversy was.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to even call it a controversy, but I guess it was. Was that some people,
Just haters, basically.
haters,
It's
saying
just
that she
haters
didn't
talking
have the
smack.
body type or the appearance for this actress, Melanie Linsky, didn't have the body type for this character because the character Kathleen is like in charge now. But the storyline is her
She's a
brother,
resistance leader, right?
yeah, her brother was the actual resistance
Yeah.
leader. He was killed because the guy Henry, the black guy who we originally started talking about on this episode, he collaborated to get that first resistance leader killed. So his sister
Which is
then,
so yeah,
yeah,
it's so good because like he does he only does that because his kid brother needs medicine, and so he turns in the leader of the resistance to basically save his brother and kills her brother in the
which
process.
side would you be on?
So what are the two sides? The side of brother versus brother, or the side of
Would you
like
be a collaborator
informer?
or would you be part of the
Dep-
militant revolutionary group?
Depends on if I'm a true believer in the cause. So if I'm a true believer in the cause, then I would not be a collaborator. But at the same time, there's like if I literally had the option where it's like saving my brother versus like not versus my brother dying, it's a lot harder.
I see.
It's
I know
tough.
what your answer gonna be. I've been thinking about this a long time because like it wouldn't be the same situation. It wouldn't be plant zombies, but if good old white boys or whatever the hell they are, Republicans and Marjorie Taylor Greene or whoever takes over, and or Ron DeSantis, and they start killing all black people and the gay people, I'm always
Oh, I
like,
would never. No, no, no,
I'm like, would he give me up?
no, no, no.
And so I'm always worried
I'm
about
sorry,
that.
Marla, but not even if Marla was sick.
Yo, he's
No.
just like we all gonna die. No,
Yeah,
I'm playing. But yeah,
that's
I
funny.
feel you. It would be very much a hard decision, which makes the show so well thought out because there's no good side or bad side. Collaborators, they have it's not like they were just doing it for no reason. They weren't collaborating with the fucked up
Oh,
military for no reason. He was trying to save his brother. But then to do that, he kills her brother. So obviously Kathleen's vengeful. But now she's
yeah.
this leader of the group, and people on the internet are saying, I don't believe that an actress could be because she has a larger body type. And when I say larger body
Yeah.
type,
So
just like she just got some hips and like that's it. Like it
yeah,
ain't
so let's
something.
break that down because that is complete BS. Like, first of all, visually, right? She's
Yeah.
like the same size as Nick Offerman. So if Nick Offerman can live in this world, like so can she. So first of all, that argument is irrelevant completely, just based on what the show's already shown us. Okay. Second of all, um, obviously, I knew like she is the sibling to the resistance leader. So if you're saying, oh, she couldn't be a resistance leader because she's not like tough enough or like anything like that, she inherited the role and they trust her because she is like basically the next closest thing they have to their fallen leader. So
Yeah.
of course you're gonna fall in line and follow that person.
But because I think someone even showed a picture like of Linda Hamilton from Terminator 2, and they're like, this would be more believable. I was like, how? That was no, she was working out in a air conditioned facility. Like like that's why she's buff. Like,
Yeah,
no, that doesn't that's I don't think a resistance leader will look like that. I honestly truly believe we're underestimating the power that women and mothers will have if
exactly what I was
if the
thinking.
apocalypse will happen. I think if we were if the
Yeah,
world had ended and we have nothing left, if like power structures are completely dismantled and taken down, and you no longer have old decrepit turtles running Kentucky or anything like that, then the people that would come in place of that would be basically mothers, doctors, teachers would probably be in charge because
yeah, you're gonna follow the person that you most believe in, who you
yeah,
most believe can be a fair and just leader. Now that ended up not really working out for them
yeah,
in that situation
she tried
because
it.
she tried, but yeah,
Yeah, they all basically everybody got fucked up. But that
yeah.
the vengeful part of her was all believable for me. Her size, her body
Mm-hmm.
type. it was believable for me. Like I think the actress did a wonderful job, and so it's just stupid that that is something that will take us out of believing the show when
Yeah,
there's
why is that the thing that suspends your disbelief when there's literal like mushroom head people running around?
like plant. Yeah,
like,
what? Come on now.
like it's so stupid.
But so moving on from that, the character that she was after, Henry and Sam, they there's a scene where like one of the brothers gets infected and then he has to kill his brother. That shit, he like
Yeah.
instantly shot him, dog. I was like, what? I don't know about that. If my brother instantly shot me and didn't even think about it, I'd be like, I would come back as a ghost. Like, hold on, bitch. Wait a minute, you shot
Now
that
I'm gonna
gun.
correct you on that. He didn't instantly shoot him. So what went down was basically he takes the gun or he basically stops Joel from shooting him, shoots the ground at Joel to get Joel to back off, turns the gun on him. There's that split second though where he considers, but then he leaps at Bella's character again, and then he shoots him. So it's like instinct, but
I know, but
like
I'm saying that's still too fast for me. I need my brother. I need to let me get in one good bite before you shoot me. Like, because she couldn't get infected
you
no
want to take
way.
someone down with you.
They were freaking out like nothing would happen to her if he bit her anyway. But the yeah, he just instantly shot her. Pow, pow. I was like, but he wasn't
It was
instantly.
sudden. It was
Yeah,
sudden
it
and
was
dramatic.
sudden, but
It
it's just
was.
it was fucked up. But it's so real about kind of like how he's trying to postpone cheat death because he caused
Mhm.
Kathleen's brother to be killed because he wanted to save his brother, and by keeping his brother trying to save his brother ended up getting bit anyway,
Mm,
infected, and now it's all that was for nothing. Everybody dead. I was
yeah.
like, I was like, damn, that whole colony or quarantine zone got fucked up twice, three times. Because they
Yeah.
got fucked up when the outbreak first happened. Then they got fucked up
Mhm.
when they killed all the military people. Then they got fucked up again when the people that killed the military people got killed by the zombies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was just
Because they were too busy hunting Sam and his brother that
yeah, doing
they
doing too much.
yeah, they were ignoring the horde of zombies underground.
Which also, okay, look. So this is funny that I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, people kind of talk. They kind of not it's not telling themselves, but they kind of reveal there's not stupidity, but what's happening in the story it's all intentional because people go, I look at her and like she's a leader, but like, is that believable? And we go, well, she is a great leader. But then at the same time, her brother was like benevolent, not benevolent, but like he was forgiving and he was like a
Mhm.
leader who respected people and wanted to save everyone. She's like, I'm not like him. So
Mhm.
she spends all her resources trying to hunt down this one man and the whole colony gets killed. So in the end,
Right.
she was irrational to some degree. She
Yeah.
was ruthless, but she had the wrong vision. So like she wasn't that great of a leader. So when people say it's not believable, she has flaws. The character,
Yeah.
not the actor. But so like it's I don't know. I think people put too much weight on characters and storylines when they see them. I'm
Way
like,
too much.
yeah,
Doing way too much. I did think the one thing that was cool is that her like co-conspirator in the rebel group, the dude Jeffrey Pierce, he actually is one of the actors in the video game, right?
yeah. He's Tommy. He's the brother. He's like
Yeah,
the
that's
actor that
crazy.
plays the voice of him, which is cool because I'm like, hey, this voice actor getting like a real job. We can see him. He looks,
And I
yeah.
think that's true of the leader of the Fireflies as well, right?
Who
Let me double check that. Um, Marlene, the woman who plays Marlene.
really?
I think she says that. I correct me if I'm wrong, internet, but I think she says that in her interview in the beginning, at the end of the first episode, is she says that she played Marlene in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
They were like, we don't know, we don't need nobody else. That's awesome.
trying to find her. She's only been in one episode so far. Just
So what this like getting past like all the just fucking synopses with our little like anecdotes.
yeah.
I think what this show It like reminds me kind of just like of my life in Los Angeles. Like
Do you
since
feel that you're trying to endure and survive?
I do. I feel like I'm trying, like I'm struggling. Like these motherfuckers had a whole zombies chasing after them and like no resources. And I have all the resources at my fingertips. Like I got like 3 Trader Joe's to choose from and like 2 Whole Foods. And I still be like struggling, trying to figure out what to eat, what to do. I got a
Do you
whole
think
ass.
you could survive in a post-apocalyptic setting like this?
The way you said that, it sounded
I,
like you
I
said
said it weird.
a post
Post-apocalyptic.
look at what you about to you sound like you
Yeah,
speaking
my
Spanish.
bad.
I thought it was gonna have the subtitles, the Bad Bunny subtitles underneath it say speaking non-English. Um
All right, answer the question.
Answer the question. I do not think I would
Do you
kill
think you could survive?
no, not at all. Because I'm too evil for this shit. You wouldn't even have to even
Really?
yeah, it'd be day one and I would already be like Negan from Walking Dead. they'd be like, you over here beating and killing people. This day one. I'm like, I just don't know. I don't trust nobody, to be honest with you. But I
So
have a
you would so
plan.
you would go rogue right away.
Yeah, I have a plan though. I
Yeah,
would you gotta get like 3 or 4 people and you all go different places. One team goes to Costco, secure motherfucking Costco, because it's a warehouse, it got food, everything in it, and it's big.
that's true.
Next person goes to Home Depot and they go with the fucking U-Hauls and they go and they stock up on all kinds of fucking supplies. And then the other person, third group, they go to a fucking gun store, raid that motherfucker, get all them guns.
Mm.
And then another person can go like to another grocery store somewhere, like a fucking Food for Less or something like that. And then all convene back at that Costco, board that shit the motherfucker up. You good. You got food
Mm.
for years and rations and shit, and you got guns, and you be like, hey, anybody try to come up in here, we gonna snipe you. So
But
maybe,
here's the thing: how many people are going to go for those same? Like, I feel like what you got to do is you got to apply the same logic, but go to the places that is like the second or the third tier version of that.
oh
Like instead
yeah,
of Home Depot,
would you
go
go
to
to Lowe's?
Lowe's.
Why we dragging Lowe's like
instead
that?
of instead of Costco, go to Food for Less.
Yeah,
Like you
gotta go
gotta.
step down. But I think if you had a full
Yeah.
plan and you just had focus, because I would just be immediately focused. I've watched enough movies
Mm.
now. That's my research. What's his name in that movie where the monsters like can hear things but they can't see? Quiet
Oh,
Place.
Quiet Place. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
dad was like so fucking focused immediately, and I was like, that's why he survived until he didn't. But he
Yeah, that's
survived because
true.
he like I was like day one, I'd be like, y'all don't freak out. Let's go. The plant zombies, like don't be scared by that. Let's just ignore that part. Get through it.
In a way, we kind of lived through something similar at the very beginning of the pandemic. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. But do you remember like when everyone was buying toilet paper and there was lines out the door at all the grocery stores?
I
I feel like
still
it
don't
kind of went
understand the toilet
down.
paper.
I think this was a panic that was started by the news.
But
When the news was saying, you better stock up on toilet paper.
what for what? I was like,
I don't
was there shitting was a part of was a COVID thing?
no, no, that was never part of it.
Because me,
I
I
think
was
they
like,
just were saying that's the first thing that sells out. Maybe because
uh,
they have a bad supply chain.
I guess. I was like, maybe we need to buy toilet paper because maybe they're trying to tell us that like I'm gonna have to eat cheese. I was like, we gonna need some. I'm gonna be shitting at the store.
I guess eat the cheese now because that doesn't keep very well, does it? Without refrigeration.
No, I'm gonna stay lactose intolerant till I die. Okay, so how about you? Would you survive? I feel like I have an
Oh
answer for
no.
this, but you go. You give me your answer.
There's no way. Do you remember when the pandemic started and I thought I was dying?
I forgot all about that. Oh my
I would
gosh.
be at home freaking out, thinking I have the mushroom like all day.
Yeah, he literally
I
like
would I wouldn't have any plans. I would just be staying in and I'd be like, I have it. I have the mushroom. This is it. This is me turning into a monster. Just perpetually for like 48 hours. And then by that point, all the good goods will be taken. Everyone's out shooting everyone. All the roads are closed. Like, and then I'm just screwed. That's what had happened to me.
you you get like that a lot. I'll
What,
just say
anxious
that.
and paranoid?
Yeah, I'll just say one of my favorite stories. Don't worry, this is a family friendly story. But
Let's do it.
we went to Mom's bar. Remember that? And we just had a couple drinks,
Yes.
and me, you, and Kaylin,
Mm-hmm.
and we, yeah, we grown ass
Mm-hmm.
men. We got a little saucy, and had a good night. But the
Yeah.
best part was the next morning. he
When
couldn't
I thought I
he
flushed
couldn't
my
find
shirt
his
down.
t-shirt, and he's like, I flushed my t-shirt down the toilet. I think I flushed my shirt down the toilet, and
I couldn't find it anywhere.
we couldn't find it, and we just kept laughing so hard. It was just so like it was just too funny because it was like, if he did, how did he get it down there? Like, are we? Is it about to blow up the pipes? Like, and why? Why would you do that? And I was like, why is that the first thing you thought
So
of? Like, why would you think that's what you
first
would
of
do?
all, I remember going into the bathroom with the shirt, and I remember leaving or waking up in the next morning without the shirt.
Yeah, because
So
you took off your shirt the next
naturally, I
day.
thought, I, yeah, but I couldn't find it. It wasn't in my clothes. It wasn't in my hamper. It wasn't in, well, it ended up being in the closet, tucked in the back on the floor. But yeah.
Yeah, it was like right there. It's just that we weren't looking in there because you already planned it in our brain that you might have flushed it down the toilet. I was just like, that's such a
Yeah, the
brain.
only places it could have been was in the bathroom or in my dirty clothes, and it
No,
wasn't in either. So,
but see, it's funny that I make fun of you for that situation because remember when I lost my car keys and I was like, I lost them for
hmm
weeks. And I was like, I can't find them.
yeah.
I was like, I put them in like two spots. I don't understand how I'd ever lose them. Like I never lose my keys. I always put them in the same spots. This doesn't make any sense. And I looked everywhere
Do
for
you
it.
want to tell them where it
Yeah.
was?
And then like 4 weeks later, I look in my shoes in the closet. It's just my keys just sitting in my shoe. I'm like, oh motherfucker. So yeah,
Because you usually put your keys in your shoes, right?
no, that was the first time I ever did that.
Oh, I thought for some reason at the time that was like your secret hiding spot.
No, why would I have a secret hiding spot for my keys? And I lost them for 3 weeks and then like pretended like I couldn't find
I
them. And I
remember distinctly having a conversation with you where you said, "Yes, it's smart to put your keys in your shoes because you know you have to wear them. You'll find them when you have to leave because you'll
I
put your
did
foot
say
in the
that.
shoe and then they'll find the keys."
I did. Wow. See, no, I don't think I normally do that. I think I'm
You're
like
either
that.
smarter or dumber than you think you are. I don't know which one. You're
Okay,
either a genius or an idiot. I don't know which.
I think I'm smarter than I know I am.
I think you're smarter. Yeah. You were so
So
smart you forgot the genius plan that you
yeah,
made for yourself.
I should run for like president. Damn, I don't know.
Yeah. I think you have to be like 40 years older to do that.
What do you mean? I used to be 35 to run for president.
No, the presidents are like 80 plus these days.
Oh yeah, nowadays, yeah. I want to be a
All
young
the
Barack,
candidates.
but Barack
Yeah.
Obama was young.
Everybody loves a young president.
But yeah, moral of the story is we would not survive.
No.
We'd be
Do you
dead.
feel that you have the tools equipped to survive in modern day Los Angeles? That's the real question.
No, I do not. I'll be
Yeah.
no, because I'll be fucking up. I'll be trying to save money, and then like I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll start saving tomorrow. Tonight, I'm getting two Postmates orders. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And like the audacity to Postmate something that's like 4 minutes away. So I'm like, I could just got in the car and
Mm,
picked it up. But I'm like, no, I want to add the extra $10 on because I don't want to walk.
I guess your time is worth $10 for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that makes your hourly rate what, like $100?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I need my peace. How about you? Can
Yeah.
you survive? Are you surviving in LA right now? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm I could survive. I could survive in LA right now, but definitely not the post-apocalypse. That's for sure.
I think we'll be okay because we can just rely on the government to have a quick, swift response and figure everything out.
Incorrect. By the way, do you like in that show how like every time they're like, "Oh yeah," when the virologists figure out what's going on, she's like, "Oh no, you need to bomb this city. You need to bomb everyone in it. That's the only way you're gonna survive."
No, that
And
was
then they did that in like every city, basically.
yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah. They
I guess they
tried
didn't
it.
realize that like it already was spreading too late. People on planes and shit. Like it was a wrap.
Yeah,
It's
that's
never really
wild.
explains like what the first person was, but I guess even the video game really didn't explain that.
They said kinda. They said it was basically in the food supply. There was maybe like some wheat or something, some grain that went bad, and the fungus was growing in it, and then someone who was working there got it and then
Yeah, but
spread
I'm
it to other
saying like
people.
that's the fungus itself just evolved. Like
Yeah,
it's not any really like experiment happened to it or anything. It's just like over time. Which I'm like, that fungus is real. Like it can't do what it's doing in this show, but it does do it to insects.
yeah, they based it on something.
Yeah, it grows on like have you seen those videos of like the ants with like the plants growing out of its body and
I
the
hate that.
spiders growing out
That's
of its
horrifying.
yeah, it's like it looks just like this game and this show.
No, I think it's very realistic what they're talking about. If like a couple crazy mutations go down, like
Yeah,
I could definitely see it.
I hate it. All right, well,
You
let's
know, one.
go ahead.
I'll try that again. Sorry. No, you go first.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say one last thing that was really cool about the show that Lizzie brought up to me that I wasn't really thinking about is like it's not very often that there's a show with a male lead playing like essentially a caretaker role for a younger child. Usually that role, like that archetype kind of falls on like a female character. So it's kind of cool that there's a storyline where, it's basically like a dad learning to how to be a better dad in
Yeah,
a way.
yeah, that's this rare. I mean, it's like there are some shows, but it's like it's very much shows how ill-equipped he is to be the
Mm-hmm.
caretaker, like like Californication or something. I don't know. I'm not, in that show, I never seen it, but I feel like he was a single dad. But
Well,
there,
yeah, there's a lot of like family shows about the
yeah,
dad
or
being kind of
Shameless,
inept, but
like this is a hot mess.
right, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, this show, it's like the dynamic is very interesting, and that's what I like a
yeah.
lot. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to stay tuned. And when it's over, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. I mean, it doesn't matter because I don't have HBO Max anyway anymore because your ass kicked everybody off. But
Hey, I'm gonna cancel it this month after the show, basically. So
yeah, well,
yeah,
my
I'm taking
world's
everyone down with me.
my world's ending. Why? Yeah,
Calm down. You have access to it.
not the access I want.
That's fair.